919fm.com. Here's what's happening.
Good afternoon. I am Vanessa Thomas with the 4 p.m. news on the street, 919 FM, and online Facebook and YouTube, sponsored by TN the power to make it work. In the headlines, government announces new restrictions to stem the growing number of COVID-19 cases. Parliamentarians and teachers among those to be vaccinated in the second phase of the COVID vaccination rollout to begin this weekend. Face masks, fines, and tickets to be paid online, and internationally, Canada grapples with a devastating third wave of COVID-19. And now the news in detail. Government has taken a decision to roll back restrictions as COVID-19 cases continue to rise. COVID cases in Trinidad and Tobago have increased significantly as 70 new infections have been registered, almost twice as much as Monday. Among the new patients are 11 people from an offshore platform. They were all confirmed from samples taken between April 10th and 12th. At today's virtual media health briefing, Health Minister Terence Dialsing detailed the restrictions and said the change will come into force from midnight.
I have been authorized by the Honorable Prime Minister to announce the following measures, which will kick in for a 3-week period starting at midnight tonight. 1, there will be no longer allowed in-house dining in restaurants, bars, casinos, and cinemas. So let me repeat. When these regulations kick in later tonight at 12 p.m., there will be no more in-house dining in restaurants, bars, casinos, and cinemas. We are also reducing public gatherings in public, again, from 10 persons back to 5 persons. Third measure to discourage gatherings, we will go back to our position where all beaches in Trinidad and Tobago, inclusive, and I've been asked to make this point especially, inclusive of beaches down the islands, because there are those who believe down the islands is not part of Trinidad and Tobago. Down the islands is part of Trinidad and Tobago.
In other news, government will move forward with the second phase of vaccinations scheduled to begin on Saturday. This following the receipt of a shipment of 40,000 COVID-19 vaccines donated by India. Speaking at the Ministry of Health's virtual media briefing today, Health Minister Terence Dialsing detailed who will be targeted in the second phase of the vaccination process.
We are now in a position to start in a small scale, phase 2 of our vaccination program, where we start to vaccinate essential workers. This phase starts on Saturday in the first instance, and I've already written to all 5 benches of Parliament. We'll be vaccinating all parliamentarians, upper house, lower house, and their spouses. We'll also be tackling senior public officers, and by next week, we are going to start local government personnel. So what we are trying to do is to keep central government, senior public officers, keep the public service at the senior level operating, and local government. We consider these essential workers. In talks with my colleague, the Minister of National Security, we will start to vaccinate essential workers under the ambit of national security. This would include frontline police, frontline prisons, frontline immigration, frontline fire, etc., frontline Coast Guard, frontline Defense Force. Included in this, under the Ministry of Finance, will be frontline customs officers. So this is the start of phase 2, and we always said, depending on the number of vaccines, we can do things concurrently. So we'll be continuing with phase 1, and with phase 2, we start this Saturday.
D.L. Singh said the balance of the 77,000 vaccines from the COVAX shipment is at this time on track to be delivered in May. In-person activities at the Arima and Sangre Grande Districts Courts and the Hall of Justice, Tobago, have been temporarily suspended to facilitate sanitization of the court buildings and testing of staff for COVID-19. A statement this afternoon said no one will be allowed into the buildings until further notice. As a result, no in-person hearings or activities will take place. People seeking access to the courts must make an appointment by contacting the relevant court office. In more news, the Senate this afternoon debated a bill to allow the online payment of fines for road traffic offences and for not wearing face masks under the COVID regulations. Attorney General Faris Al-Rawi, in seeking to clarify the details of this, explains.
We are today providing an unlocked opportunity for the people of Trinidad and Tobago to pay their fines for motor vehicle and road traffic, to pay their fines for mask wearing, to pay their fines levied by the court by way of any order of the court, to pay maintenance, to continue to pay maintenance because court pay is in proper operation, to continue to pay for filing fees and other arrangements, and all of this without having to leave your home.
Finally, on the international scene, Canada continues to grapple with a devastating third wave of COVID-19. The national hotspots of Ontario has surpassed 30,000, with new infections being detected daily in record numbers. The provinces of Alberta and Quebec are also in the throes of a severe third wave, each with more than 10,000 active cases, and British Columbia follows close behind. Thousands of Canadians are signing on to a petition calling for a zero COVID strategy across the country. Citing tremendous urgency as cases surge, the petition urges the federal and provincial governments to take immediate action to eliminate the spread of COVID-19 countrywide. And that was the 4 p.m. news on the street, 919 FM, and online Facebook and YouTube, sponsored by TNTech, the power to make it work. Recapping the headlines, government announces new restrictions to stem the growing number of COVID-19 cases. Parliamentarians and teachers among those to be vaccinated in the second phase of the COVID vaccination rollout to begin this weekend. Face mask fines and tickets to be paid online. And internationally, Canada continues to grapple with a devastating third wave of COVID-19. Stay tuned to The Street 919 FM. I am Vanessa Thomas. Good afternoon, Aisha Wells. She's up next alongside AJ, and she's already in the building.